When Juliana moved to her dream home in Crestwood Heights, all she wanted was peace, quiet, and a pool to escape it all. But her paradise soon turned into a battleground when entitled neighbors began treating her backyard like their personal resort. She tried being kind, she tried being firm, but when they pushed too far, she responded with brilliance, boundaries, and a splash of poetic justice. This is what happens when you mess with the wrong woman's peace. Juliana Cross had built her life in quiet victories. A retired forensic analyst in her early 40s, she finally settled in Crestwood Heights, a sunny Arizona suburb known for its wide lots, gated fences, and gated smiles. Her two-story, adobe-style house stood like a silent fortress. Inside the backyard, surrounded by cacti and painted rocks, glimmered her pride and joy, a turquoise saltwater pool. The pool was more than water. It was peace, escape. It was every year of blood work, crime scenes, and unending overtime distilled into calm ripples and lavender-scented solitude. No kids, no husband, no obligations. Just morning swims and sunset floats. Juliana didn't ask for much, just for the world outside her gate to stay there. But as summer arrived with heat waves and bratty teenagers, the whispers started, about her being the weird woman with the perfect pool. And the gate, it wasn't locked hard enough for what was coming. She noticed it after a grocery run. The sun was still high, baking the pavement as Juliana pulled into her driveway. But her front yard told a different story. Muddy footprints led from the sidewalk to her side gate, now slightly ajar. She followed the trail with dread. In the backyard, the pool water shimmered, slightly lower than usual. Her pool float was moved. A juice box straw bobbed mockingly in the skimmer. Then she saw it, a pair of wet goggles hanging from the cactus sculpture. She wasn't mad yet, just baffled. Maybe a local kid, a mistake. She asked her nearest neighbor, Ron, retired Marine, now the block's unofficial grill master. He grinned and shrugged. Kids get hot. You've got the best pool on the street. Not a public one, she said sharply. He chuckled. Don't be a gatekeeper, Jules. She tightened her jaw in the lock. 3 days later, Juliana was sipping iced tea on her sun porch when she heard it, the unmistakable splash of someone diving. She froze. Ice clinked in her glass, another splash, followed by high-pitched laughter. She stormed through the house, flung open the back door, and stood dumbfounded. A teenage boy, maybe 15, was doing cannonballs in her pool. A girl filmed from a deck chair, sipping soda like it was a music video set. Hey, Juliana barked. Get out. The boy stumbled out of the water, guilt already evaporating under the sun. Sorry, we didn't think you'd be home. That's your defense? She snapped. Trespassing only counts if I catch you? We live 2 houses down, the girl added, grabbing her phone. It's just water. Juliana opened the gate, her voice icier than her tea. Then go swim in your own. The next day, Juliana marched to the house 2 doors down. She expected apologies. What she got was sarcasm and entitlement. They're just kids, the father shrugged, arms folded like a bouncer. You seriously came here over a swim? Juliana's tone turned forensic. Your children broke into private property. Do you realize how dangerous that is? The mother scoffed. They're teenagers, not criminals. It's not like they stole anything. Actually, my expensive pool chemicals say otherwise. The father rolled his eyes. You're making a federal case out of pool water. Juliana left without another word, but in her mind she was already sketching out blueprints, not of revenge, of evidence. She installed security cameras, motion-sensitive, night vision capable, cloud-backed. A forensic analyst doesn't go halfway. For 2 blissful weeks, there was silence, until a Saturday afternoon when Juliana returned from the farmer's market to find beer cans floating in the pool. The lock on her gate snapped clean in 2. Her Weber grill was missing a propane tank. Someone had dragged patio chairs into the pool. The camera footage? Infuriating. Half the neighborhood seemed to have joined an impromptu backyard bash. Teens, adults, even a dog wearing water wings. One woman sunbathed with a martini. Another used her gardening table as a buffet. Juliana sat through it all, jaw clenched, watching the footage frame by frame. She brought the evidence to the next HOA meeting. Flash drive in hand, she played the video on the clubhouse TV. Gasps, awkward coughing. A man muttered, "Is that me?" as he saw himself skimming shrimp from her grill. "I don't care about your block parties," Juliana said, voice steady, "but you don't get to hold them in my yard." The board president, a golf-shirted windbag named Steve, cleared his throat. "Let's be neighborly, Juliana. These are families. Share the joy." She stared him down. "You're not asking me to be neighborly. You're asking me to be a doormat." Juliana spent that evening drafting her plan. First, industrial locks. Not the wimpy kind from aisle 6. These came from a tactical gear site, meant for storm shelters. She installed them by flashlight. Next, signage. Bright yellow with black lettering. Warning, pool treated with chemical dye. Unauthorized use may result in skin discoloration. Rash, itching, legal consequences. Was it true? Not entirely. Was it effective? You bet. She even planted fake EPA tags and left a decoy bottle labeled hexafluorine A3 next to the pump. A little paranoia never hurt anyone. Juliana wasn't done. She added a harmless but showy pool dye, a trick she'd learned while helping a lab tech friend with prank experiments. Anyone who peed in her pool would activate a vivid teal cloud. Even stepping in might tint their feet green for an hour or two. By the time she finished, her pool looked like a bioluminescent lagoon. Under blacklight, it glowed like an alien crime scene. She sat in the dark, sipping chamomile, waiting. It took one night. Juliana's camera caught them, 3 teens hopping the fence. One jumped in. The dye flared instantly. Yashinoi, screams, scrambling. One of them yelled, "She poisoned us!" The next morning, Glowgate was trending on TikTok. Her pool appeared in slow-motion edits with dramatic music. Some called her a witch, others called her a legend. Even Linda, the mom from the earlier Just Kids rant, commented, "Some people are too uptight to live in suburbs." Juliana responded with a gif of a fence being electrified. No words. Juliana printed fake notices, complete with Maricopa Hazard Authority seals, and taped them around her fence. Notice: contaminated biowater. Entry prohibited. Surveillance active. Fines starting at $25,000. She then hid motion-activated speakers around the yard. When triggered, they played a pre-recorded voice that said, "You are trespassing on a federally monitored chemical testing site. Leave immediately." Neighbors began crossing the street to avoid her house. Kids whispered legends about the glow pool. And Juliana? She floated in silence under the stars, at peace, finally alone in her fortress of calm and chlorine. It came late. A knock, fast, angry. Juliana peeked through her Ring camera. Linda, arms crossed, ponytail trembling. Juliana opened the door slowly. "Something you need?" Linda didn't mince words. "My daughter's skin turned blue." "Blue, Juliana." "She trespassed," Juliana replied, "and learned something valuable. Science is real." "You think this is funny?" Juliana tilted her head. "No, I think this is property law and basic parenting. You're isolating yourself from this community." Juliana smiled. "That's the point." Linda's eyes narrowed. "You'll regret this. Nobody likes the Ice Queen forever." Juliana stepped back, then let them melt. She shut the door without another word. The sound of her deadbolt echoed like a gavel. By the weekend, whispers ran rampant. At the dog park, at school pickup, even at the farmer's market. "That woman's unstable. She's probably ex-military. I heard she has a bunker under the pool." Juliana just watered her succulents and let the rumors grow wilder than her aloe vera. She did install one final touch: motion-triggered sprinklers with chilled water. When someone tried peeking over her fence that night, they got a face full of Arizona hose water. Screams followed. Phones dropped. Juliana chuckled from her sunroom, sipping lemon water like champagne. An envelope appeared in her mailbox. Monogrammed. Thick parchment. Official. "You are in violation of community aesthetics per Article 4, Section C. Unapproved signage, audio disturbance, and suspicious water features." Juliana laughed so hard she nearly spilled her tea. She framed the letter and hung it beside her forensic commendation from the FBI. At the next HOA meeting, she brought cupcakes iced with neon blue swirls. One read "Toxic Neighbor." When Steve, the HOA president, muttered, "You're escalating this," she replied coolly, No, I finished escalating 2 weeks ago. Greg, Linda's sunburned husband with the ego of a broken lawnmower, decided to test the biohazard theory himself. Juliana watched him on her Nest Cam as he scaled her fence, shirtless and armed with a six-pack. He strutted to the pool, looked directly at the camera, and dipped a toe. Bad idea. The sensors triggered instantly. The speaker blared, "You are entering a contamination zone. Evacuate or be neutralized." Sprinklers erupted. The chemical dye, reacting with his cologne, turned his skin blotchy green and hot pink. He slipped, fell in, and screamed like a toddler in a haunted house. Juliana captured every frame. By morning, Greg's aquatic disaster had gone viral. A TikTok post titled, "When Chad Meets Chernobyl," got 3 million views in 24 hours. Local news showed up. A reporter stood outside Juliana's gate, squinting at the warning signs. Residents claim this pool glows at night and may contain illegal substances. Juliana gave a calm interview from behind her fence. "I'm just a private citizen protecting her property. The signs are legal, the cameras are legal, the pool paid for in full." The footage made national news under the segment, "The Pool Avenger." And just like that, she became a legend. Kids started crossing the street to avoid her house. Amazon drivers double-checked the address. A Reddit thread emerged, "Arpash Glow Pool." Conspiracy theories range from "she's ex-CIA" to "she developed her own algae defense tech." Juliana printed the most absurd theory: she harvests moonlight for revenge energy and turned it into a coffee mug. Everywhere she went, people whispered, pointed, sometimes even applauded. At Trader Joe's, a clerk gave her a free bouquet. "For making the world a little less entitled," Juliana smiled. "I just like clean water." Linda returned, this time with her lawyer cousin and a stack of printed screenshots. Juliana greeted them in her robe, holding a garden hose like a sword. "We're pressing charges," Linda announced. "Public defamation, psychological trauma." Juliana raised an eyebrow. "And I'm filing for unlawful trespass, theft, and endangerment. I have footage from 5 separate incidents." She handed them a USB drive labeled "Proof of Idiocy." Linda's cousin flipped through the screenshots. One of them showed Mia on a pool float sipping wine. Another, Greg doing a dance beside the grill. He paled. Linda left in silence. The HOA caved under pressure from both sides. They sent a second letter, this one typed hastily, backpedaling the previous complaint. "After further review, your property modifications are deemed eccentric but within bounds." Juliana framed that one too. Steve never looked her in the eye again. Linda stopped attending meetings. Greg refused to mow his lawn in daylight. The fence got taller, the pool sign stayed up, and no one, absolutely no one, tried to test the water again. The kids had a nickname for her now, the Witch of Cypress Lane. Some feared her, others admired her. But Juliana didn't care. Every evening she floated under the glowing string lights of her private paradise, untouched and unbothered. She'd earned this peace, with overtime, with trauma, with work. And when people tried to steal it, she didn't fight back with fists. She fought back with strategy and the occasional fluorescent dye. Months passed, summer faded, Halloween came and went. Juliana watched from her window as kids walked past in costumes, none daring to ring her doorbell. She smiled. Peace wasn't always quiet, but it was always earned. She slipped into her pool that night, glowing faintly under moonlight and blacklight bulbs. The water embraced her like an old friend. No footsteps, no giggles, no floating pizza rafts that weren't hers, just stillness, finally. As she floated there, she whispered to herself, "They thought I was a witch. But I was just someone who set a boundary they couldn't burn." Not everyone will respect your boundaries until they are forced to. Juliana tried kindness, warnings, and patience. But only when she took smart, decisive action did the freeloaders finally back off. This story reminds us that setting boundaries isn't selfish, it's essential. Whether it's your time, your energy, or your space, if you don't protect what's yours, someone else will take it without asking. Respect isn't given freely, it's demanded through action.